record on this computer. And then I'm going to start my fun little slideshow. If I can find it again. All right. Doggone it. So now, share screen, boom, share, play from start. And now I'm going to start to let everybody in. Okay, here we go. Hi, everybody. So my name is Joe Valevsky, and I'm a naturalist here at Wolf Ridge. And as you're being admitted here, that you'll see that there's a slideshow playing right now. They're just fun pictures, just so that you have something interesting to look at rather than my silly face. But what I wanted to do was to let you know that we've got, I think it's 10 million people who are going to be joining us, or maybe a little less than that, actually. We have a lot of folks who are joining, which is really exciting. And so what I'd like you to know is that this is the Teach Outdoors Minnesota weekly workshops, and that we're going to be holding these weekly workshops on Wednesdays. And so now that you're a part of this team, we're going to keep sending you invitations. And that each week we have a different presentation planned, and there are some that are already scheduled. And we ask that you give us ideas as well. Give us ideas on what you would like to see. Maybe actually you want to present as well. That would be exciting. And so realize that this is a team of people who are here to support each other in teaching outdoors. And that's the name of this, is Teach Outdoors Minnesota. But you know what? We have people who are joining us from outside of Minnesota as well. And that's pretty exciting. We want you to teach outdoors too, okay? So it just has happened to be called Teach Outdoors Minnesota. Again, these pictures that are showing are just to give you something interesting to look at as everybody's entering, as I'm trying to admit everybody. Also, I fully expect that everybody has experience with Zoom, and so you know how to get around and all those types of things. And stay muted, mute your dog, mute your cat if you've got a cat that's making lots of noise, whatever it might be, right? Oh my gosh, what a large crowd we have here. This is really amazing. So again, as I'm entering people, I want to introduce myself again. My name is Joe Valevsky, and I'm at Wolf Ridge Environmental Learning Center. And we have so many people who are joining. I'm going to continue to do that. Now, as I had mentioned, we have several different workshops planned already. But if you have ideas, what I'd like for you to do is to enter your ideas on what you'd like to have into our chat. Just enter that right into the chat. Zoom etiquette, I already mentioned that a little bit. You know, keep yourself muted. Make sure to smile if you show your video, because we like to look at smiling faces, all that type of stuff. The presentation that we have, two presenters actually. We're starting off amazing. We've got Mona Davis, and then also we've got Molly, who's with us as well. And that what we're, my goodness, I'm trying to admit people and concentrate on what I'm saying at the same time. I don't do so well with that. What we'd like you to know is that there are also CEUs, the possibility of getting CEUs. And at the end of this entire presentation, I'm going to copy the link to that form so that you can sign up for that if that's something that you want to have. At the very end, we're going to have a question and answer. And then during that time period, we're going to put a lot of resources in that as well. And I think that as far as keeping everything organized, if you have resources that you think are valuable, that you'd like to enter and share with other people, save that to the end. And we'll have one big collection in our chats box that has a lot of those resources so we can share with each other. So the presentation in a bit is going to start, and it's going to last about 45 minutes. And then we'll have question and answer at the very end. And then again, we'll have resources. And for those of you who might have to leave early, or those of you who aren't even here, you're listening to my voice right now because I've also recorded this. And so we're going to record this and save this, and we'll make it available on the website. And I think I just reached a point where our critical mass of people are here. So I'm going to stop sharing. Wow. Now I get to see faces. This is great. This is great from all over the place. Holy smokes. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Oh, no, there's more people joining. Wow. But what I'd like to do is, rather than me babbling anymore, I would love it if we would begin. And I'm going to pass it over to Mona and Molly, and they're going to lead us in the very first of our series of workshops for Teach Outdoors Minnesota. Thank you so much for being here, you two. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, great. 1 second while I bring up our presentation for you, and we'll get rolling. All righty. Well, Mona and I are really pleased to kick this thing off. We're just thrilled to bring you the first topic in this webinar series on animals in winter this week. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us. You've already been putting this in the chat box, but if you haven't yet, feel free to add it in. We'd like to welcome you and find out a little more about you, who you are, where you are, and do you already take your students outside? Yes or no? Let us know if you do. We're just curious, and we'll take a moment here to peek at what you're putting in. Let's see.
Lots of yeses.
Great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of yeses too.
Mm-hmm.
That's hardy Minnesotans for you.
Oh, hardy Ohioans and New Jerseyans as well. Oh my goodness,
Yes.
it's all over the place.
Wisconsin, right. Excellent.
Oregon, we have somebody from Oregon? Hey.
Wonderful. Well, I don't think we can teach them anything, Mona. I think we should just go home. Call it a day. Oh, well. Well, we're really glad that you do take your students or children outside already. That's phenomenal. And we can always use encouragement and new ideas to keep going along that line. So thanks for sharing. Keep sharing. We're going to move along, though, and continue on with the presentation. So
with that, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Mona Davis, and I teach 4th grade. And I teach for our public school system in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. And I teach at the Prairie Wetlands Learning Center in Fergus Falls. And what we are called out there is the Prairie Science class. And it's really a partnership with the school district and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. A very unique partnership that we would not be able to do without both of those entities. So that is my position. I've been teaching for 28 years. And the first 16 years, I was teaching in a traditional education classroom. In the last 12 years, I have been using an outdoor classroom and have found really my joy and passion in teaching really has come out in using an outdoor classroom. So I'm excited to be here and share some things with you.
Alrighty. Well, I'm so glad, Mona, that you and I could do this together. It's always enjoyable for me, and adds far all the more credibility to have you here as a teacher who teaches outside. So my name is Molly Stoddard. I work for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I also work at the Prairie Wetlands Learning Center in Fergus Falls. We're part of the Fergus Falls Wetland Management District, which is part of the National Wildlife Refuge System on a national, broader scale. And that is all managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I've been at Prairie Wetlands for about 15 years and working for the service for 28 years. And I would say that coming to Prairie Wetlands really reinvigorated me mid-career because I learned a whole different way of doing education and a different way of doing environmental education. And I haven't like Rachel Carson says, we can never be bored because there's always something new to explore and investigate outside. So I haven't got bored yet, thankfully.
Very true.
All righty.
So today we are going to be exploring the outdoors. And so we are going to ask that you have some type of outdoor clothing. What, depending on where you live will depend on how much you need. Kind of a quick, easy access to the outdoors. Or if you don't have that access, a window would be good. But we really want you to experience what we are doing with you today. So if you could also have a journal or a notebook handy, that would be great. And then a pencil to write with. And then we will get you started.
What we're sharing with you today, what we're about to share with you today comes from the Compass to Nature. And we need to give a little credit there and give you access to where you can find the Compass to Nature for future reference. This is an approach to teaching outside that has been developed over the years at the Prairie Wetlands Learning Center. It'll help you if you're looking for some more ideas or just to get started. It'll help you navigate your use of any outdoor classroom site in any geographic location. It's useful for any grade or age and can be applied in any season. And all abilities of children or adults can benefit from it. So there's there's 4 or 5 main components to the Compass to Nature. The navigational directions are, the cardinal directions are place, phenology, naturalists, and journals, all held together with the sense of wonder. If you'd like to learn more about this approach, you can find the Compass to Nature on our website as a booklet. It's about 30 pages long. And it goes into more detail about each of those compass points and wonder, as well as you see here on page 25, there are 10, actually 11, because there's a bonus. Top 10 field activities that the Prairie Science class students enjoy every year, a little description of each one. So you can certainly take advantage of using these in your own outdoor classroom as well. Okay, so I am going to close this out. And Mona, do you see the presentation again?
Yep, you got to click on full screen again.
Okay, there we go.
Then we're good. Yep.
Okay, the Compass to Nature booklet is also found on the Teach Outdoors Minnesota website.
So our plan for you today is to investigate survival strategies that are used by animals in winter. And we're going to be using something called KWHL. And KWHL is an investigation tool that is used by both the Prairie Science class and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife at the Prairie Wetlands Learning Center. This document is found on the Prairie Wetlands Learning Center website, and it goes into more detail on what KWHL is. We're not going to talk that much detail. We're going to do kind of a shortened version of it so that you get to actually experience it. KWHL is kind of a simplified scientific method. They use it, the Fish and Wildlife use it in their day use programs. We use it for different topics for the Prairie Science class too. It can hit a lot of standards. It can hit science standards, language arts standards, so a lot of different types of standards. If you are thinking of if you're working with school groups. So today we're going to be using this, and you want to go back, Molly? The K that starts it off is the know. So what do you know? So we're going to find those things out. The second one is what do you wonder? And then we have to go outside to explore in the H, which is how we are going to find these things out. And then our reflection and questions come at the end, and hopefully that will help us answer the what do you know and what do you wonder by getting outside exploring, and the L stands for what we have learned from doing that. So this is the process we're going to use today. All right, so in your journal or your notebook that you have in front of you, the question is, what do you know about animal strategies for surviving in winter? And we would like you to write down four things that you know about animals and their survival strategies. And then from those four, pick one of them and just share it with us in the chat box. So go ahead and do that now. Great, we've already got some coming on. Mice tunnel in the snow. They store food, some go into hibernation. Molly, I'm reading these off for you.
Yep. Oh, thanks.
Winter camouflage, their fur changes, they migrate, they grow thicker coats, there's a subnivean layer. They hibernate, chickadees.
Oh yeah.
Have more feathers. They're going really fast.
I saw that one, Teresa. Good one.
Mhm.
The chickadees grow more nervous.
Yep.
So they
Small
remember
birds
all the
stay
places
active.
they're hidden seeds.
Yep. It says small birds stay active. They seek open water, tunnels under the snow. Great lists. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
So from there,
It's coming.
okay.
Takes a minute sometimes.
The next thing we want to know is, what do you wonder about animal strategies for surviving in the winter time? So what kinds of things do you question? You know, you might have ideas, but now maybe you have some questions about those things. So write down 2 questions in your journal or your notebook, and then we want you to share one question in the chat box.
Make sure that you're coming up with questions that can be investigated outside your door.
Right, right. Not something that's real broad, just a very simple topic of something in your place. Okay. Are you seeing any yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
They're thinking, I'm sure.
Yep.
It's a lively group.
Oh, somebody asked about muskrats. Where do they go? What kind of animals live in the subnivean layer? What type of seed do birds eat? Where are the squirrels stashing food? What happens when they lose the subnivean space? Ooh, that's a good question. Where would I find an animal today in Minnesota? What do the animals in my schoolyard do at night? I wonder how they remember how they hid their food, or even where they hid their food. How long can they stay under the snow? Where are the insects? How much do birds rely on bird feeders? Good question.
Oh, wow.
Are bird feeders helpful? How long does a hibernating animal sleep? Where are the bees? How you doing, Molly?
I'm doing great.
Okay.
This is such a wonderful variety of questions. And knowing that we were expecting quite a large group of you today,
Right.
what we're going to do next then is this. I'm going to give you some options.
Okay.
So we're going to ask you now to set up your journal page, and you can start having it look something like this. You're going to need a whole page, so you'll need to turn to a fresh side and give it a title and a date and a location. My location is my yard. This is my page for today. And then I usually include some space for recording weather observations. I usually use a thermometer, a wind meter, a ruler to record the air, wind, and snow, the wind speed and direction, and then something about the sky.
We have cloud charts too that we use sometimes.
That's true, we do. So, and then set up 4 quadrants. That's sort of redundant, but 4 boxes on your page. And then I am going to suggest some titles for those quadrants, and you can use what I suggest for you, or because you're grown-ups and you have come up with just this incredibly large and diverse list of questions, and we all have maybe some different environments outside our door, I'll give you the discretion to set up your journal page how you see fit from this point out. So starting with the first quadrant, I'm going to call that one animal list. Animal list. So I'm writing that title right now in my journal page, and I'm going to start a numbered list. 1, 2, 3, 4 is all I have. Animal list. So that's where I'm going to write down the names of animals or evidence of them that I find outside. Evidence can be using my sight, my ears, my sense of smell, touch. So an animal list. Then the next quadrant I'm going to set up is going to be titled strategies. Strategies. Yes, I still sound it out. So then start a numbered list 1, 2, 3, 4. And for each animal I observe or evidence of it, I'm going to write it down on the list. And then under strategies, that same number, I am going to write down what strategy I observe it using to survive winter. What I'm focusing on some vocabulary for winter. So I'm going to choose to use the words it migrates, it hibernates, or it resists winter. Most people are not familiar necessarily with that word, resists winter. That's the word we use to describe animals that don't hibernate and they don't migrate. They stay here and they stay active during the winter. So I'm going to use those vocabulary words. You can describe it how you want, though. That's up to you. And then the third quadrant is I'm going to call sketch. And that's where I can sketch anything I want having to do with animals that I observe outside or the evidence that they have left behind. And I'm going to mark myself a note to label my sketches. The fourth quadrant, I'm going to give you a little word bank. Maybe Mona will type it in the chat box. And I want you to choose one of the words for the title of your fourth quadrant. If you choose, I recommend it anyway. These are what I call my wonder words to help inspire a sense of wonder and just to remember to wonder. So choose one of these words: surprise, awe, mystery, joy, delight, or beauty. Or choose your own wonder word if you have one that you like to use. I think I'm going to go with joy because I don't use that one nearly enough. All right.
I'm surprised wrong.
I think we're ready for our next slide. So
Molly, before you go on, let's just review. So each quadrant is number 1. There's one that's called animal list. And then there's one that she said was strategies. And then there's one for a sketch. And then there's one for one of those wonder words or one that you choose. These are suggestions. You don't have to use these, but they're just suggestions from some of your questions and responses. Thank you, Anna, for popping those in.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Mona. The joy box, that's sort of a wild card space. You can do whatever you want in there. You can sketch, you can measure, you can write, you can tally, whatever you want.
There's a question, if an animal survives best in winter, Yes, it's resisting winter because it still is, it's active during winter, and that's what we consider to be resisting, is that it's active and it stays in that area. Oh, tolerate. That's a good one. Tolerate.
Yeah, that's for a lot of humans, Sarah.
Yeah.
Tolerate winter. Yeah.
Okay.
They might survive best in winter. Yeah, they would.
Yep.
Kind of curious, Dan, what kind of animal you're thinking of. So feel free to throw that in there.
All right. So moving on.
All right, we're ready to go on. So next we're going to head outside, and how we'd like to do this is to just have you leave your laptop or your computer running. Don't shut it down or anything. Just leave it run and get your gear on, bring your pencil and journal with you, and head outside. Use your senses, record your discoveries in your journal, and then if you can't go outside, of course, for whatever reason, then we'd suggest you visit at least one window in your home, and if it opens, open it a crack so you can hear some sounds and maybe smells, you never know, and feel that fresh air too. We want to come back in. What time are we thinking, Mona?
4:10.
4:10. So
Yep.
in about 10 minutes or 12 minutes, right?
About 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. My watch must be fast. So we want to join back together, ready to continue on and with our investigation here in 15 minutes. So we'll see you back then. By the way, I understand that Joe is going to stay put while we're outside. So if you run into any questions, you can ask Joe. He'll be here.
Okay, we'll be back.
Excellent. Thank you. So as you're heading off and doing those types of things, my voice will be just in the background for a minute or two here, is that, again, if you have ideas for presentations in the future, things that you would like to either offer or things that you would like offered for you, please put those in the chat, and that we're going to gather all of that. And again, I'm recording all of this. There are CEUs that you could get from this, and we'll make sure to have the form accessible to you at the very end. We've put it at the beginning, and maybe you joined late and can't see that, but we're going to have it available at the end. This is all being recorded as well. So if you miss something and you want to come back to that, realize that it's going to be there. Teach Outdoors Minnesota. You know, it occurred to me, I didn't even really define what we are. We're a group of people that are interested in supporting outdoor instruction during COVID-19 and beyond. So it's not just for COVID-19. What we like to do is set up a pattern so that everybody wants to continue doing this years and decades into the future. So thanks again for joining us. Enjoy your time outdoors or looking out the window. There are a few people who are still joining us, which is really fun. And so I want to welcome some of those. I think Julie just entered here. And what I want you to realize is that the students have all been sent out on an assignment. Oh my gosh. So what I would like is for you to just recognize that these students are coming back. They're looking out the window or they're outside and they're gathering some nature notes, and they're doing their best to organize that in what is a KWHL chart. I think those were the letters. I was focused on a lot of other things right here, but that they're working on that right now, and we'll be back at about 2:10. So literally we have maybe a bunch of blank screens right now. Not that I want to fill your ears with unnecessary noise. Maybe you're enjoying the silence, but I will tell you that I had an opportunity yesterday to teach a group of, I think it was 60 fourth graders in Tucson, Arizona. I'm here in northern Minnesota on Lake Superior, and I got to teach them. So I think about the things that were missing during COVID, but I also think about those things we're exploring. I would have never thought to teach fourth graders in Arizona during the middle of winter. And so what an interesting opportunity now. I was able to virtually take them out onto a frozen lake. I drilled a hole, showed them the ice was about 17 inches thick. And it was pretty amazing to be able to do that. At one point, while I was doing that, they were looking at a 360 image that I had put together with a lot of different embedded images in it. And that 360 image was Raven Lake, where I was. They were able to click on it, and they got so excited by all the different embedded images that I had, which were animals that had made the signs that were there. So they got to see signs as well as the animals. Oh my gosh. They all unmuted themselves and nobody could get a word in edgewise. So Jessica just joined us as well. We're still getting people joining us, which is great fun. Jessica, I just want you to know that everybody has fallen off the edge of the planet. We're the only people left right now. No, actually, all the students are out doing work right now. And so we're here waiting for them to return.
I just noticed all the empty seats. I was sorry, I was a little distracted by the news, and all of a sudden I realized I was missing this. So I apologize for being late.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. So what they're all doing now, all the students, is they're out taking notes, nature notes, either out a window or literally outside. And so they've left their computers on and left. And there's just a few of us, Sue, you and me, and I don't know, maybe some others, I can't quite tell. But anyway, that's what they're doing. They're going to be back in a few minutes. And I also want you to know, Jessica, that I've been recording this, and we're going to put this on the website, the Teach Outdoors Minnesota website. So anything that you missed, you'll be able to go right back and see that. And you can fast forward through all my babbling. Thanks for joining us.
I'll just go look out my window for a minute.
Yes, please do. Yeah. I'm going to babble for just a couple more minutes for anybody who's here. My daughter, when she was in first grade, her first grade teacher had a rule. You must sit in your chair. You must pay attention. You must raise your hand if you want to say anything. Okay, that was more than one rule, right? But the one rule that I didn't mention was that they were allowed to break all the other rules if they saw a bird at the bird feeder out the window. Then they could just jump up, they could interrupt class. It didn't matter what the teacher was doing, the kid could interrupt. The kids loved it. Oh my gosh. And so when they were all supposed to be paying attention, but we all know they were looking out the window, then they got to actually celebrate the fact that they saw a bird. But January, when they returned after winter break, the rules changed and they were mortified. The rules are going to change. And then they realized that the way that they're changing is that they weren't allowed to just jump up and say there's a bird. They could only do it if they knew the species of the bird.
You know, Joe, that's kind of fun. I'm an e-birder. So I'm on the Cornell Lab of Ornithology website, and it's called eBird, and anybody can do it. It does not matter how smart you are about birds. If right now you know robin and blue jay, great. Join the group, and it is giving that announcement. I saw a bluebird, or I saw a blue jay. I don't think I see a bluebird right now, but and my goal this year is to make an eBird checklist every day of the year, whether it's for 5 minutes or 50 minutes. Everybody can do it, and that data is part of science and a whole lot of fun.
That's amazing. So you started that goal essentially January 1st.
Yep.
Good for you.
Yep. Right now it's a lot out of my my window. But I also have a goal this year is to find more trails to walk that I have not walked in the past. And you can eBird anywhere. So my hope is that my lists become more diversified, but I'm keeping things very easy. 5-10 minutes every day, it doesn't matter.
Very nice.
And 0 means something too, right, Joe?
It totally does. Yeah, that's data. Data matters every single time. It tells us something is going on.
Absolutely.
And Megan, you're an eBirder too. Good for you. I wonder if either of you or any of you, maybe Jessica too, because I can see you smiling there. If any of you engages in iNaturalist. iNaturalist is a fun way to be able to share your observations as well. It's harder with birds or with things that are flitting away, but it's a great way to be able to capture that data and share it across the planet.
It's a great one to check out, everyone. Another free site. And you know what, Joe? I don't think that fungi or lichen move very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was just a lob there for me to be able to just smash home is that I love fungi and lichen. And so I spent a lot of time putting those on my iNaturalist account. And you know, I continually learn about the things around me because people in Russia and New Zealand and South Africa and Argentina, they all join in this as well. It's all over the world. And so I'm constantly.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, Jessica, you better.
Somebody has a lichen week.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Somebody has lichen week.
Okay, they are my favorite person. Said who said that?
I had no idea what to do for Lichen Week. We follow this. It's just a little home curriculum, exploring nature with children. They have a whole week. They do lichen stuff. But it was the hardest for me because I didn't know enough to do much with lichen. I needed you.
Jessica, so where are you located on the planet?
I'm in Iowa.
Okay. Yeah. So There's a variety of resources for lichens. iNaturalist is probably your best bet because you can get absolutely local lichen species identified. And when you take a picture of something that you don't know and you put it on iNaturalist, some nerdy naturalist out there is going to tell you what it is. And Sue's pointing at me, I think. I didn't think I was nerdy. I thought I was really cool. But anyway, so absolutely, Lichen Week does sound awesome, and to be able to do that with iNaturalist. Then, depending on where you're at, there may be local floras. In other words, field guides that you can use as well. But I think that iNaturalist is the cheapest, the easiest, the most personal way that you can enter it. Definitely.
Lichens are a lot of fun to study. We study those out where I'm at, and we do, one of the things we do is a color map of a tree, of a section of bark with lichen on it. And the kids are amazed when you ask them what color a tree is, they'll say brown. And then when you color map a tree, just one section of where lichen is, they are amazed that there's sometimes no brown on it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Kind of fun.
So here at Wolf Ridge, I'm pointing off to a corner that there's this beautiful painting of, and this artist came here, an amazing artist. I don't remember who it was. This was 30 years ago, and he painted it birch trees. And I kept looking at it and wondering, what's wrong with this painting over and over again, until about 5-6 years ago, I noticed there are no lichens on the trees. And I walked right down there and looked at the birch trees, and there's lichens on them, right? And it's just like, wow, sometimes we paint what we think we're seeing, even if we're professional artists. And yeah, once we really start to notice what's there, lichens are everywhere. Jessica, you know that already.
I know the bare amount about lichen now, so that's where I'm at a child level at this point.
Oh,
that's the best level to be at.
So since we're waiting for Molly to return, and we were
she'll be back shortly.
We're on this lichen kick, I will mention to folks that it's very likely that later in this series of workshops that there will be one on lichens. That those of us who wanted to put this together, we each talked to each other and said, what can you offer? And I bring the lichen story. I'll bring that. And so definitely lichen biology and ecology, and a little bit of the history and stories. And edible ones, Pam, there are a few edible ones, but not many, but we'll pull that in as well. So yeah. So look for at least one lichen presentation during this workshop series. When it seems like there's a little opening that isn't taken by everybody else, there'll be a lichens and mushrooms. It'll be a symbiosis workshop.
Well, and Joe, it's one of those things that you can find in really everybody's habitat. And they become overlooked, and yet when you look at them more closely, their own ecosystems and so forth, I'm loving it.
Yeah, oh, I'm liking it or loving it, but
liking it. Oh, you would.
Well, Molly, while you were gone, chaos ensued. Everybody was throwing things in the room. It was crazy. It was crazy. But we calmed it all back down. I think that they're back.
Excellent. I thought it was sort of a energetic group. So yeah. Oh.
All right.
Up North Joe. Well, are we ready to get started? Do you think, Mona, or a couple more?
Yep.
Oh, we are. Okay.
There's many back.
Okay. Awesome. I am going to move on then. Welcome back, everybody. Continue on with our investigation here. So look back at your questions that you wrote down, hopefully, or just at least remember them in your brain. And we're going to ask you to compare them to what you recorded on your journal page for your observations that you made outside. And then write down an answer to your questions. Take a moment to do that. And after you do that, then you can share in the chat box one discovery that you made. This is the L part of the KWHL. What have we learned? I better put my stuff in.
I love it here. Larry wrote deer bed 36 inches across. I love the detail of the 36 inches across. How often do we not put those details in there? That's a beautiful detail.
That's my weakest language in a nature journal, is the language of numbers. I'm much stronger on the writing and then the sketching, and last of all, the number part. I found a walnut shell in the yard, but we have no walnut trees around. So
Oh,
how did it get here? That is a wonderful mystery. Thanks for sharing that, Bill.
lots of chickadee info. Oh, somebody's got a deer in their backyard right now.
Oh, how wonderful. Deer tracks all over my backyard, mostly under the big oak trees. Oh,
Mourning doves.
good one, Joan.
Oh.
Ah, 7 mourning doves. Wonderful. I saw not a single wild animal in my yard, but I heard a few little birds, and I kind of wonder, where did everybody go? I saw tracks near the evergreen outside my office window, even though it is surrounded by concrete. Oh, that's delightful, Jessica.
That is.
White
Lots
breasted.
of deer.
Yeah. Excellent.
Human snow prints. Ooh, a bird feather inside. Oh.
That is interesting, Trish. I wonder what kind of
Beautiful.
feathers they were.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
Oh, lots of nice native species there, Rick. Oh, no wonder it's Rick Hall. Okay, I'm not surprised. Deer tracks all around our pond, which we keep open with aerators from
Oh.
glass. Thanks, glass.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay. I want to read every single one of them, but we're going to keep moving to use our time wisely here. And yeah, so we'll go on to the standards.
Yep. So, you know, we are looking at the Minnesota academic state standards that we have. And when we look at this investigation, there are several different types of standards that could be covered, but looking at just the science, and these are the old standards, we haven't quite implemented all of the new standards yet. But when you're looking at 4th grade, the standards for science that could be used on something like this activity today would be measuring the different types of weather. Somebody measured the deer bed out there, could be the depth of snow. A lot of different types of measuring could be happening. Generating heat energy, depending on what you had to put on to go outside. And then in 5th grade, a lot of investigating just happened. The different tools, techniques, and data for measuring different areas. And mapping, maybe you mapped out your yard or mapped out that deer bed or something that you had seen. Maybe you could map out the tracks if you found tracks and where they went to. Different animal structures. I think Molly, you said you saw a squirrel nest.
Yep.
Parts of natural systems. So there are a lot of different standards that could be covered. And for teachers, that is so important because we need to hit the standards that are part of our state. And this is just science. I know from this list, we could also come up with a lot of different language arts standards. For the Prairie Science class, we do a lot of writing. We do poetry, we do stories, we incorporate grammar, all different kinds of things. So this just gives you a little glimpse of what could be hit on a simple topic like today.
And just a note of regarding the new standards.
Yes.
For Minnesota, anytime you take children outside, you're observing natural phenomenon happening. No,
Right.
It's impossible not to. So I have no concern that there wouldn't be new standards that would be supported by an investigation like this as well.
Right. So with KWHL, it's endless, the type of topics you can use. It can really basically anything. Lichen would be a great topic for KWHL. Some of the things that we've used it with, and this is just a little snapshot of a few things, but seeds, trees, birds, wetlands, prairies, prairie insects, aquatic invertebrates, muskrats, snow, ice. And, you know, like I said, the topics are endless. So KWHL is something that you can use anytime for anything, for any age level. They can be young children that you can do this topic with.
Alrighty, we'd like to give you the opportunity now that we've completed the investigation to reflect a little bit on this, this workshop. So if you wouldn't mind to write in your journal, share in the chat box, one takeaway you have from this web shop. I kind of combined webinar and workshop there. And then this would also be a wonderful time to write down any questions that you have outstanding right now in the chat box. And we will bring that up here so we can see what you have to contribute. Yes, Dre is the name of a squirrel nest, to whoever asked that. Oh, that's wonderful, Kim.
Yeah.
Thank you. This would be one way you could use it, definitely. Wonder words, yeah. Really like your one, okay, good.
What's fun is to find out what your kids would come up with for wonder words too, when you explain wonder and not just asking questions, but see what kinds of words they come up with. That's always kind of fun.
If you add the H to KWL, you really get a simplified version of a scientific method.
Yep.
That is very user-friendly.
Say, and with wonder words, think about what's on your weekly spelling test if you're still giving those. Sometimes there's a great word to use as a wonder word, and it uses those words in a practical way. And it's just kind of fun.
I think that was Sue. Thanks, Sue.
Mm-hmm.
So as some of these are coming up, I just want to point out that it's really great to see so many people excited about these types of things, and that I'm recording this so you can access all of this later at the website. Also, if you have resources that you think would be valuable to share with each other, please feel free to throw those resources into the chat and we can add that, okay? But then also, I think it was Molly who said something that numbers were a harder thing for her to capture. Next week on Wednesday, it's all about math outdoors with Karen. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited how I hope that all of these workshops just feed each other.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, well, we're gonna scroll along here because we want to make sure to thank everybody for joining us.
Yeah, we want to thank Teach Outdoors Minnesota And Wolf Ridge, Joe, you've been a delightful host, and we appreciate that. We want to thank all of Joe's helpers, the background helpers that were on here and with us to begin with. And thank you, Molly, for working on this presentation so diligently and being my team partner and giving these types of presentations. It's always fun to do that with her. So.
And
Yeah.
thank you, Mona, for taking your own time to organize and practice and present this and share your expertise. Really greatly appreciate it.
And we thank all of you for participating. We are so excited that you are here with us and that this Teach Outdoors Minnesota is getting kicked off. What an exciting adventure and great ideas that we can share with each other. And continue to encourage each other to get kids outside and get each other outside. What a great way to start off 2021. So, thank you.
Our contact info, our emails are there in case you'd like to ask a question later or want to have further communication.
So again, I want to thank everybody for being part of this. Teach Outdoors Minnesota, again, is a coalition of folks who want to support all teachers teaching outside, whether it's during COVID-19 or beyond, actually, especially beyond, right? We want to keep doing this all the time, and we want it to become just a part of what we all do, so it's not a surprise to our administrations, to our students, to our communities. Teaching outdoors, regardless, it's very possible. Next week, it's going to be about math outdoors with Karen. And again, what I ask you to do is if you have ideas that you'd like to present or ideas that you would like presented for you, put those in the chat. There's so many things going through right now. I can't even try to keep up, but I'm going to be looking at all of this and taking notes and putting it all together and reach out to us. Please feel free to reach out to us. That there's a lot of us who have been putting this together, and the larger our community grows, the better this will be for everybody.
And Joe, the Zoom link that you received for this session is the same Zoom link for the month of January. So save that email. We won't be re-emailing you each week. So beginning at the end of January, we'll email you again announcing the February topics. But save that January email because it'll have that Zoom link on the bottom and it's the same Zoom link.
So,
and then we just ask that you have people register through our website, that teachoutdoorsminnesota.com workshops. And then that way we can get their contact information. So instead of just forwarding that email out, direct them to that website so that they can get registered and then we'll keep them in touch.
and I saw a question from Bill, and Bill, maybe you already know the answer because I think that Anna was sort of addressing that, is just join next time. No reason to sign up again. But if you can get your 10 neighbors to sign up, that'd be great.
That's right. Spread the joy.
So are there other questions or comments from anybody here in the peanut gallery? I think we're good. I think we're good. Kim, that's an amazing background you have there. Yes, you.
I needed to build a fake closet, so it's actually just a
Oh my gosh.
Hilarious.
Okay, I know what we're all going to do now. We're all going to go make our own background. That's fabulous.
So if you want to turn your camera on to wave goodbye like the kids, right?
Yeah.
It would be wonderful to see your faces again. And I see you, Sue. I saw you. There you are. Yay. Oh.
Also, before you end up leaving, if you have questions that you wanted to ask for whatever, or you needed something addressed, a few of us are going to hang on to the bitter end. So if you've got something you need answered, thanks for coming, everybody.
Yep. It was very fun to be with you today and get outside and get to know my own backyard a little bit better. There's Jeff. Bye, Jeff. Hi, Jeff. They're just, everybody's moving around as people sign out. So test of my observation skills here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Molly, I saw earlier on there, somebody said that their daughter was an intern at Prairie Wetlands.
Oh,
Bill Thompson.
oh, that's Beth's dad, Beth Thompson. Oh boy, that was a long time ago now.
Yeah, he said about 7 or 8 years ago. Yeah, I remember Beth. Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Molly.
Where are you, Rick? I hear your voice.
I'm out there.
Oh, there you are. I see you.
Yeah.
Hi, Rick.
Up there on top, you know.
Are you going to get your virtual students outside? I saw
Yeah.
your comment about that.
Yeah, well, I tuned in to try to figure out how to do that. So I got some ideas.
Excellent. It's possible. It can be done.
Yeah. I'm going to try to get them to record phenology stuff on the conference website each day
Oh, good. I like that.
and weather data and stuff. So,
Excellent.
What age do you work with, Rick?
well, this will be, I guess, K-12 probably. I like to say that I work for K to gray.
I know I got some in there, so.
Oh, good. I'm included. I have some too. Yeah. You could even do pre-K if you wanted to.
There you go.
Pre-K to
Yes,
grade.
pre-K to gray. Yes.
Excellent. Hi, Becky. I see you. FYI.
Thank you.
Excellent. You bet. Thanks for being here, Jackie.
Thanks, Jackie.
Sweet.
I didn't have
Thanks,
to use
everybody.
I didn't have to use my new mug with anybody today yet. Dang, I was really hoping, Mona. I was gonna get you on that. Excited, right?
I know.
I need one of those for
All
you,
right.
Molly.
Well, I realized for myself that the lighting changed so dramatically, so fast that it's horrible for me right now. Next time, I'm not going to use this room.
Oh, yeah, your face is more in shadow now.
I know. It was great in the very beginning and all day when I was in this room for meetings from 8 a.m. all the way up to this one. It was great. And then it just went downhill.
Well, we can't thank you all enough for letting us try this out.